for some reason, I was whistling the tune to the Muppets just then. Right, let's bring everybody back in. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Let's just say hello loads of times. How are we all doing? It's WP Build's weekly WordPress news time. Hello, says Leo Mindel. How are you doing, Leo? Leo Mindel has sent me a webcam, which is really nice.
Wow.
He's put one in the post, which I haven't got it yet. But he said he cleaned it off. He'd cleaned it all and put it in a box and cleaned the box, which was really nice. Thank you, Leo, for that. Really appreciate it. Hi, Rick. Ooh, happy Easter. We Dutchies are not working because we have a second Easter day. Is this?
Yeah, maybe you're not. But...
Yeah, this is the guy.
Yeah, that's the Dutch guy.
Yeah, there's the Dutch guy. Oh, Rick. I met Rick in Europe, in WordCamp Europe. Hello, Rick. And who else have we got? We've got Chris Hughes. Hello, all. Yeah, it might be a bit thin on the ground today because it is, of course, Easter. But nevertheless, we're here. I'll just very quickly, before I introduce anybody, I'll just do my normal quick thing. So we're going to do the WordPress weekly news for the week that's just finished. It started on the 6th of April, 2020. And if, like Rick and Leo and Chris, you would like to make some comments, there's a couple of URLs there. Go to wpbuilds.com/live. You've got to be logged into Google for that because it's Facebook. Because it's YouTube comments. Or go to wpbuilds.com/Facebook, and that's the Facebook group. And what else? Hughes says hi. Hello, Hughes. He's in the UK. Look at this. Absentee Paul Lacey has decided to show himself. Hi, Paul. And hello.
Spending time with the family and just looking at his phone too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. So his kids over there, just quick on the phone. And Heinrich, who's in Ireland, or at least he was last time I communicated with him. So let's introduce all of us on our little panel today. I'm really oh, crikey, what's going on there? Got to take that one off quickly. 1 second. There we go. I'm joined by 3 guests. 2 of them have been on before, and one of them is new on the WP Builds Weekly WordPress News. I'll go around in order. I'm going to get this right. First time, Wendie, yes. Sabrina, yes. Now, this is the one that always goes wrong. Yeah, got it. Yay. And Bernhard. So, I'll go around in order. Wendie, do you want to introduce yourself quickly? Tell us who you are, where you're from, and so on.
Sure. My name is Wendie. I am I have my own WordPress company, which is called Website Club. It's based in the Netherlands, and I help Dutch customers build their websites.
Very nice. Thank you very much indeed.
That's it.
And Sabrina, tell us who you are, where you're from, and so
Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina. I'm from Kiev, Ukraine. I happen to be self-isolated at my home here, and I think it's the best place to be on quarantine. I speed up websites for the clients. I'm a contractor. I'm fond of performance and swimming. Yeah.
2 very different things. Just before we move on to Bernhard, I asked my family the other day, yesterday, in fact, I said, what is the one thing that you want to do when all of this is over and everybody's allowed to go out? And 3 out of the 5 of us said swimming.
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 Really?
Yeah, we just got this thing. I mean, we don't normally swim, but it just feels like the most freeing thing to do. It's just like a real, just floating in some water and just splashing about might be a really nice feeling. Anyway, there we go. And where is he? There he is. Bernhard, say hello and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm from Austria. In isolation too, because we are everywhere in Europe, we're in isolation. So, but it's nothing different than normal because working from home is the same before and after. So it's because we're used to it. I think it's an advantage, at least in these times. And then for the rest, working a little bit on pods, helping out, doing my own sites. Yeah, the usual stuff, kinda.
It's kind of the usual with a bit of quirky thrown in, isn't it? It's a little bit different. Leo Mindel in his normal acerbic way will be far better convo with Paul only on the chat. Oh, Oh, it bites. And Paul says he's building Scalextric. Watching you all on the TV. Don't do that, Paul. That's not good for anybody's health. Take us off quickly. And Maziar. Hello. I don't know that I've met Maziar before. Hello, everyone. Great to join this episode from the beginning. Hello. Very nice to have you with us. And Matt Davis, Paul, bet you crash in the first corner. Scalextric is like little cars that you whiz around a track with. Little gun that you hold. It's quite fun. Okay. I think every week for the last couple of weeks we've done the whole COVID-19 thing, and I don't think we should avoid it because it is quite a topic for the moment. If we just go round in order and just sort of say anything that's occurring to us, that would be quite nice. For my part, I'm stuck in, still got my wife and kids with me. We had to sort of self-isolate for 2 weeks, which ended on Saturday. So I was able to go to the shop, and I found that to be quite a nice experience. I was imagining it was going to be really difficult and fraught with chaos, but it wasn't. It was very calm, very orderly. So we've sort of got rid of that anxiety about having food running out and all of that kind of stuff. We were never running particularly low. I've had quite a bit of work cancelled on me because of the current climate. Lots of people sort of, I expect, are in the same boat. You know, clients don't really know what to do, and that seems to have reached a bit of a crescendo at the moment. So that's where I'm at anyway. What about you, Wendie? How's it playing out in the Netherlands?
We're at home. Everybody's at home. At least that's the idea. Not everybody is listening very well.
Yeah.
2 trains were stopped this weekend, because there were too many people in the trains. And we are, a lot of people from Germany are traveling to the Netherlands. I know there has been some issues by the borders, but I haven't followed the news good enough to know what was happening. Also because it is so tiring to hear so many people are getting sick and so many people are dying and all these kind of horror stories. I don't like it. So what I did this morning, in the Netherlands, there is a group of people, volunteers, just for fun, who do, it's called a lucky route, if you translate it. And it's in the city, and then everybody can apply if you want to join, and then you share the thing that makes you happy.
Nice.
So you go out in the street, out in shops, all kinds of places, you share the thing that makes you happy. And because that is not happening right now, they decided to move it online, and I joined the session this morning. And we shared with each other, we were with a couple of ladies, and we shared with each other what we are grateful for and what is going to be the thing we learned because of this. And that was so interesting. And it melted my heart. It felt so nice to share something positive about what was happening, because everybody's at home and we're doing the video calling. And, well, work-wise, it's pretty good for me right now.
Nice.
I had a little drop when it began, and everybody just stopped doing what they were doing and didn't want anything done on their websites. But people are getting used to staying at home. We're starting the 5th week in the Netherlands. So people are getting used to it. It's getting more normal, and people are thinking, okay, so what can I do? Well, I can work on my website.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today I have been. Sorry, that's my dog.
That's okay.
Walking through our street, which is not normal anymore. So every time someone does that,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
he needs to come.
Yeah.
I live near a school, so usually it's very busy with students, and he's on the table behind me.
Yeah, I see him. He's lovely. We often have Paul Lacey's dog. He brings him up, or her, I don't know. Oh, that's really nice. The positivity thing. I set up this week, or yesterday, in fact, I set up guinea pig cam in my back garden, and
I saw the guinea pig videos. Yes, I did.
Just thought it's quite nice watching the guinea pigs eat and potter about. Guinea pig cam, that was quite entertaining. What about you, Sabrina? Because we haven't heard anything on this show, at least, from your part of the world, from the Ukraine. What's happening there? How's it for you?
Pretty much the similar. We're on 4th week of quarantine right now. I'm in Kiev. It was very strict from the beginning in Kiev because it's a huge city. So we don't have public transportation, nothing is working, no restaurants, coffee shops, or anything since 16th of March, I think. Yeah, so the streets are pretty deserted, but like we never had problems with groceries or toilet paper, which is good. Like everything in the stores was on the place.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Obviously, it was like Wendie said, it was like a small like pause in everything when it started, because everyone was not sure what's gonna happen. And I think I spent like 5 days watching series, but doing nothing but just watching series, and then I got so bored and sick of this. So so I just had to go back to my usual life, to work and to do things.
It's quite it is quite interesting how the not normal has become normal. I figured sometime around week 2 it just became right. This is how it is now, and it just seems quite quirky. It will be very interesting when things come to an end. You know, obviously I go out with my family swimming, but what everybody else does. I saw a picture of chickens running. All of these chickens running in one direction today on YouTube, and the little meme at the bottom was what happens when lockdown ends. There's just thousands of chickens just having a great time, just enjoying their freedom. What about you, Bernhard? You said before we started recording that everything's kind of the same, but is there anything notable in Austria?
Well, starting with tomorrow, the first shops are opening again, because we were very strict in the beginning in Austria. So they're reopening everything below 400 square meters, and the seasonal stuff like floweries and how do you call the building equipment? I don't know how you call the stores.
Yeah, like a DIY sort of store. Yeah, hardware store. Yeah.
So hardware store, they are allowed to open again. We'll see how long. We'll see how it works out. Maybe starting of May, around the rest of the shops. So currently, it looks like we're on the way back to a little bit more normal compared to before all of that. But you never know if they scale it back because the infections rise, or nobody knows for sure. Yes, it's. I think it's quite the same. It's some people say, well, no, they can't, and then they take it back, and then they do it. And I think that's the only thing they can do. It's like dancing on the edge to avoid too many infections. So yeah,
it's interesting. Interesting how it's all playing out differently.
It's not easy. I'm sure after it, everybody will have an opinion. Oh, would we have done this or that or something else? Afterwards is always easier. So yeah, doing the best out of it. So use the time, because last time I told you we were moving houses, so we finished it almost. So had to carry around everything ourselves. So well.
Well, at least you got your workouts.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
I mean, the only thing you can do is make the best out of it, because we can't change the circumstances. I mean, we could go on about it, but no, everything is crazy, and yes, it is, but well, we can change it. So I tried to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah. Thank you. Hughes. Right, we'll ignore that comment and go to this one. Hello, Richard. How are you doing? You're right. Right, so let's stick this in, because this is what this is all about. In theory, it's nice to share that news, but we're here to chat about WordPressy stuff. So let's get on with it. It's a sort of slow time, I suppose. It's not the typical time. Anyway, quick thing. We are WP Builds. That's what we do. Head over to this link, subscribe, and you can, find our YouTube channel, find us on our podcast app of your choice, sign up to newsletters, all that stuff. And then if you go here, archives, news archive, you'll see the weekly archive. And the one that we're talking about is always the top left. And they've always got an animal on them. This week, it was a kangaroo. And so this this is the article that we're doing this week. So here we go. Let's get stuck into it. I know that a few of you have made some, that is to say, a few of you who are in this conversation want to talk about some of these things. So I'll just get started. I'll introduce each of the topics. The first one, which is this one here, we always talk about WordPress core, first of all. And there is actually a little bit going on in WordPress core at the moment. The first one is over on make.wordpress.org. And this is to say that Josefa Hayden has issued a call for tickets for WordPress 5.5. Believe it or not, it feels like about 8 minutes ago that we were all talking about WordPress 5.4 and what it was going to be like and so on and so forth. Well, that's all over and done with now. We're on to 5.5. So they want to know what you want to be included, what the current UX pain points are, what features we can iterate on, and so on. So I don't know if anybody's got an irritation about WordPress or has got anything that they want to add to this. I think, Sabrina, you wanted to say something, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm very excited about native lazy load feature being added to core.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry, I dropped you out. Sabrina, I pressed the wrong button and you disappeared for about a quarter of a second. I'm really sorry. Start again.
No worries. I was saying that I'm excited to see that native lazy load feature, not feature, but attribute for images will be added in WordPress core. So if browser supports lazy loading, pictures, images will be lazy loaded. The thing is that not all browsers support this.
Which ones don't support it? Because you would have thought in this day and age that would have been a kind of bit of a requirement, right?
So this was ready, like lazy loading for WordPress core. I think it was ready in autumn, but it wasn't shipped in previous releases because not many browsers, but only Chrome and Edge supported this feature at the moment. So there were some talks about like making, giving Chrome and Edge an advantage before other browsers. If we will include lazy loading in core, it will give advantage to Chrome and Edge browser before others.
I get
so
it.
So now Android browser and Opera started to support lazy load in February, I think. And just last week, on 8th of April, Firefox joined, but Safari didn't join yet. But still, we will see this happening, I think, in 5.5, which is exciting.
Yeah, I guess if you're a plugin developer that's your thing, it's something to be mindful of, isn't it? If it's going to be supported in the browser, there'll no longer need to be any kind of JavaScript hacks or plugins installed that do something clever and quirky. I presume it's just something that, if it sees an image tag, it just loads it when it needs to be loaded.
Exactly. That's why this call for tickets is inviting developers who work on lazy load in their plugins or themes or whatever to test their themes and plugins with this new feature and to give a feedback how it works and to make it compatible.
Yeah. The only gripe that I've got about WordPress, of any nature at the minute, actually, is when you're trying to type in an excerpt in the block editor. I don't know if any of you ever do this, but the little field is, it's really tiny, and if you merely click out of it and go back to the sort of document, then it goes to the document view and it goes to the block that you've just clicked on, and then you have to find it again and scroll to the bottom and then expand it all. So that's going to be my little thing to submit. I want the excerpt box to be bigger and just sort of stay there if you're using it. Anyway, thank you, Sabrina. That was good. The other thing which is quite interesting is the second piece, I should say, from our WordPress core section this week is over on WP Tavern. As always, a really great piece by Justin Tadlock. This is something which I just think is so, if we don't get this, something's gone wrong. This should happen. This is the proposal to add a consent API to WordPress. Now, I'm probably going to mash this up a little bit, But in a sense, the proposal is to come up with a consent API which gives consent across the board for everything, so that plugins and themes and all of these disparate different things have to hook into the consent API in order to get consent for something. So as you can see here, this is probably the most useful bit to read. Consent management plugins cannot prevent others from placing a PHP cookie. Plugins that integrate tracking code on the client side could break the site if blocked by a consent management plugin. Minified URLs and JavaScript files may not be detected by automatic plugin, and so on and so forth. Anyway, the idea is that this. Go on, Bernhard.
It's a very important thing because, for example, it's more European thing with all the GDPR stuff.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to set a cookie or to do anything before you get the consent. So some plugins do it for you, but it's not always easy that every other plugin applies to the same rules. So it's a very good move to have this in core or centralized, because then you can extend it with a plugin or things, but you can take care of every consent you need on your whole page, because you could be fined. I don't think it happens in Austria, but you could maybe find if you place a cookie before you get consent, even if it's just a minor cookie who stores, I don't know, the username for the site.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, the point being that it's like this unified place to gain, to put all of the privacy and consent stuff. And it just seemed like a really good idea. As I said, it was probably like 3 or 4 days since I read this, and I've somehow lost the thread of exactly what it was about. But it was, it just seemed like a really nice idea, so I included it. Anybody else want to chip in on that before I move on?
And there is also the plan for 5.5 to include multi-site support for these.
Okay, thank you. I had not noticed that one. That's good. Thank you very much. Okay, the next ones are all grouped under this idea here of community. We've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 little pieces, and the first one is just this one. If you don't pay attention to this podcast and you don't sort of like read, and you don't read up on a particular news source, this is quite a nice one. Each month, WordPress.org released this month in review, so I thought I'd illustrate this one. It just sort of shows all of the interesting things that have happened this month. Moving swiftly on, WP Engine. Good grief, am I going to make use of this tomorrow? Kids off school. I've got 3 kids, and I have to usefully use their time. One of the things that I tried to do, slightly unsuccessfully, was to teach my kids how to use WordPress. I set them all up with their own domain. I got all the WordPress stuff installed for them. And then I sat there and kind of thought, what would be the easiest way into this? Anyway, it turns out I'm not very good at that kind of thing. And so I'm going to start relying on this little bit, because WP Engine donates services to help Geekpack teach kids WordPress at home for free. Not heard of this. I can't say if it's any good or not, but if you are a mother or a father or a carer and you're at home and you fancy giving your kids a bit of tech teaching, and WordPress is what you want to do, this is the link here. Geekpack Create and Code, and WP Engine support it, and it's 100% free. It says here, 3-week virtual course geared towards kids stuck at home to learn about creating websites with WordPress. But it's a little bit more than that, because it then uses Scratch, which is a really nice kind of like Lego brick approach to building programs. You just drag in an if or an or, and then drag in a print statement or whatever, and it all works really nicely. Computer-aided design, obviously some sort of like simple graphic design, G Suite, stuff like that. So yeah, really cool. Honestly, the bit of the kids being at home is probably the hardest part at the minute for us. I think it's really tricky trying to keep them engaged. Anybody want to chip in on that, or should I move on?
Well, I think it's great. Also, I think parents should not teach their kids as a main rule.
Tell me about it. It's totally, never a truer word has been spoken.
Well, my kid is kind of grown by now, but I would have been horrified if this happened when she was little. It would have been so hard.
it's like a skill set that you just don't possess. You know, those people who that's their career, they're really good at it because they've been doing it for ages. And then it's kind of in the UK. I'm forgive me, this is going to sound like a moan, and it really isn't. And it might be different across different parts of the UK, but it feels like all the parents have just been told, kind of get on with it. Like, just do it, right? Just get on with it. Let your kids get on with it. Whereas I kind of feel that although nobody saw this coming, they did see it coming a bit. You know, there was a tiny bit of time, a week or so, where I feel that could have been addressed by some of those teaching institutions. And I'm really sorry. And God, there's probably somebody watching this who's got a partner or somebody who's a teacher and thinks that I'm an idiot, but it feels like, oh, I'm so not good at this. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. So teaching your own kids, well, I know, I don't know if it's in Europe. I know they're not in the Netherlands, not a lot of people who are homeschooling their children. I know it's a bigger thing in America, but
okay.
For me, it was healthy that my kid got somebody else to teach her stuff.
Yeah.
And just have the parenting. For me, the only job left was parenting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You see, I'm all right at that bit. Oh, I don't know about that even, but you know, at least there's a bit of history with that. And the whole teaching thing, I'm just thinking, oh, so I am going to be all over this. My children are going to sit down, disciplined, obedient, everything tomorrow.
Right. Because that's what they've been doing so far.
Actually, to be fair to them, in case they do hear that, they're very biddable. They're very loving, wonderful children. But it's more my end. The difficulty comes from me of finding purposeful things for a child of this age and a child of this age. And obviously a pro, somebody that was used to this, would have access to all these kind of resources. So anyway, it just looked really interesting.
Also,
and
what I do think, coming back to the parenting, I know some teachers, and what is happening here is that, especially with higher schools, middle school and high school, that they are keeping the classes the same as they were, but then online. But consuming information online is totally different than sitting in a class and being with your classmates.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really fair to ask of the teachers and the children to consume the same information just digitally.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
I think there should be much more room for playing and stuff like that. It's not really WordPress related, but I think it's important to give parents some slack and teachers some slack and kids some.
I've been using far too much Slack. Way too much time on Slack. I think you're right, Wendie. It is interesting. There's a couple of comments come here. Rick says, I feel for the kids who have parents who just simply can't homeschool their kids. We're doing okay-ish. Nice one. Rick also says, teaching is really a trade. One has to be good at it. Yeah. Well, yes, here's somebody that's not. Just, you know. Right. Okay. Interesting stuff. Anyway, go and have a look at that resource. I'm going to be making use of it anyway. So right, let's put the screen back up. Next one. If only we could have had WordCamp Europe. That would have been so nice. Oh, boo and hiss. WordCamp Europe got postponed. I'm stressing postponed. It definitely wasn't cancelled. The good news is, if you wanted to go to Porto, we did mention this last week, if you wanted to go to Porto, if that was a real big draw for you, you're in luck. It's the same place next year, exactly the same. And the dates are listed on this article. Where is it? There we go. The 3rd to the 5th of June next year, 2021. Same venue, same exact thing. So you could probably just rebook the hotel that you had to cancel if you'd already done that. But if you're feeling that it wasn't just Porto and you wanted to actually attend the sessions, they're going to put them all online. They're going to do a live version, which is great, because it did sound for a while as if that was in question, as if maybe that wasn't going to happen. So what's the important information? WordCamp Europe 2020 online will take place from the 4th to the 6th of June, and there'll be a contributor day on the 4th of June. I know that Wendie and Sabrina and Bernhard, we've all of us been to these WordCamp things. I've only been to one, But do you think you'll make use of the online version of it, or is that just not quite the same experience?
You can't compare it, I think. Even it's like an online meeting, all the informational stuff which happens just around it. You meet somebody over there and see him over there, and then you talk. All that kind of stuff doesn't really happen. Or like you sit beside someone and there comes a comment while the speaker is speaking, and you start a conversation afterwards about it. All those informational stuff just doesn't happen. So but it's better than nothing.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably a good way of thinking about it, isn't it? It's better than nothing. There's a few platforms that I've seen come along recently. I can't think of the name of them. I think one was called Hoptin or something like that, where they've tried to kind of create hallway tracks and things like that. And I don't know if WordCamp Europe will try to have a bit of that, so that if you get a bit, if you're making some comments in the comment section and you find that somebody's aligned with you and you want to go off and have a chat with them instead of staying in the session, maybe that kind of stuff's possible. I don't know what they're going to use, but we'll see. It'd be nice.
We'll see.
What about?
We'll see.
Yeah, indeed.
I am one of the speakers.
I
Shouldn't
know.
tell, but
No, I know.
Will you do this online?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it pre-recorded or do you actually do it live?
No, it's not. I don't think it's live. I have only received the information that if I wanted to do it online.
Okay.
I think they're pre-recorded. I'm one of organizers.
You're one of the organizers?
Yeah.
This is perfect.
It must have been so hard to call off the whole thing.
I was on a community events team, which is responsible for after parties, social, and all the networking and fun. So this can't be taken online,
Yeah.
So it was sad, but what else can we do?
Yeah.
It's so true, but doing so much work and then having it canceled because of this, it's heartbreaking.
Actually, we have all this work saved, and we can use a lot of stuff that we already did next year. Also, the thing that it will take place at the same venue, same place, everything is the same. It makes it easier.
So you can just relax and lay back and wait until it's next year, and then pull out all the documents and make it happen.
Nothing to do. Oh, that is not. Obviously, it's a tragedy, right? We all want it to go.
Yes,
it was going to be fabulous. But I think the online version, I'm so pleased that it's happening because, obviously an example. There we go. Wendie. I was trying to point at Wendie. You put in the effort, you've probably given it a bit of thought. You got yourself all geared up for it and so on. And then for it to just sort of be taken away would be a shame.
Well, I was thinking about that because when I heard they postponed it, I was thinking, okay, so what if they postpone it to next year? And would they have the same speakers, or would it just be because it is a different year? Would it be a new round of call for speakers? So I was wondering about that. It's clear now. No, it's not clear now. I don't know what's going to happen next year.
It's clear that it's not clear.
No, it's not clear. They're going to do it online. Which does that mean I get to speak next year at the postponed event, or is this my time to talk? Or that was interesting because I know for me that the talk I applied with is a talk that is something I am very passionate about right now, but. Right. Things can easily change in more than a year. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, you might be absolutely sick to the back teeth of talking about something.
Right. Well, or maybe my life has changed so much, or my career has changed so much, especially now with everybody rethinking about what they're going to do and how this is going to play out. Well, maybe what I am talking about this year is not applying at all next year, and I would think of myself, well, I can tell people that because this is stupid.
Yeah. Sabrina, Maziar, I'm sorry, Maziar, if I've pronounced your name incorrectly, but he's put this comment. I wonder if there's any news regarding WordCamp Europe workshops. Will they be held online as well? obviously being an organizer, you've got more insight into it than any of us. Do you know anything about that?
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about this right now.
No. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, what a shame. What a shame that it's all gone away for this year. But nevertheless, press on. Let's keep going. So what's the next bit of news that we've got? This one just came to my attention this week. I thought this was quite an interesting one. And I knew that Sabrina was coming on, and I know that Sabrina's area of expertise is speeding up your WordPress websites. So I won't go through all of this, but this is a WPMU Dev article. They've got a variety of kind of caching plugins. They've got one called Smush for squashing images, and then they've got one called Hummingbird, which is a little bit like all the other ones that do caching. But this is all about the time to first byte. And so really, I just want to hand over to Sabrina. And, what did you make of this? Did you think this was a decent write-up? Have you got anything you want to say in this area? I know, for example, that you've got your own plugin that is all about this exact thing.
Mm-hmm. Not really about this thing. You see, they're speaking about time to first byte. But the thing is that time to first byte, this number doesn't reflect user experience. It's a part of the number that reflects the actual user experience, which is called speed index or time to interact in different tools. So my plugin, it's built with a web page test API, and it measures real user experience by measuring speed index. And time to first byte, I like this post. It surely answers some questions, but it doesn't make it quite clear what time to first byte is not. Because some people think that when you check time to first byte, you can make sure that your host doing well, like that your host is fast enough. But it's not the case. You cannot check time to first byte and conclude, all right, this is like shitty hosting, and I will move somewhere and my time to first byte will do well, because it's not like that. So I think this article maybe needs some more explanation.
Yeah, it's a sort of an article. WPMU Dev, I think they do a really good job of putting out lots and lots of content, and I do really appreciate the stuff that they do. I'm not really a user of their product, and I know that you used to work for WP Rocket, is that right, Sabrina? But you don't any longer.
Yeah, I used to work for them. I'm a huge fan of this plugin. I was a huge fan of this plugin before I started working for them, and now after working for them even more, because I know how the things are organized on the team. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, anyway, it's an interesting piece about, if this kind of stuff bothers you. I hear this being bandied around a lot. Time to first byte, really important, and so on. And as you said, Sabrina, it's like one of a myriad of things that you need to be mindful of. But anyway, there it was. What is the name of your plugin, Sabrina, and where can we find it?
It's called SpeedGuard. Just to mention, just to maybe to those who will be listening to this, to make life a little bit easier and to check if the thing is in your hosting or it's not. Just a piece of advice: you can test your website. Like there is a service called ByteCheck. You can test time to first byte there. And if you test your website there, and then you test some static file like robots.txt, for example, and you compare these two numbers, you can see if the thing is in your hosting or it's in WordPress and plugins and themes and so on. Just
right.
A quick check you can do.
Yeah. So yours is SpeedGuard. What's the URL? SpeedGuard.
It's WordPress.org. It's free plugin.
Oh, it's just on the repo. You don't have a sort of sales.
Repo. I updated it just yesterday, and I'm so proud of this update because I gave a few talks about site speed optimization at WordCamps, and I always mention that you need to measure your website speed correctly, to put the location and connection type that is like relevant to your users. And now SpeedGuard does this as well. You can choose the connection type, and you can choose the location. So, for example, your target audience is in California, and they use 4G internet. So you can put this in plugin and get results for your target audience, not like for other countries and other connection types, but specifically for what you're targeting to at. Yeah.
And this must be it then.
Yes.
SpeedGuard by Sabrina Zeidan. That's great. How's your experience been releasing a plugin into the wild? Has it been a really fun experience, or has it been, difficult?
I don't know. It's fun, everything is fun.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay.
It's fun in the start.
Oh. And what next?
No, well,
support.
It depends.
Yeah.
No, it stays funny. I mean, I don't know. I think it depends if it's something which can break easily, or something which just works. And it gets funny once you reach more and more users and think, okay, I wouldn't have imagined that happening. So
yeah, I guess people will find ways of doing things with your plugin that you never even imagined, then report about it. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, nice. Hughes says, thanks, Sabrina, for the tip. That's really nice. The bite check tip. That's great. Bite check. Yeah, got it, Hughes. Nice one. Thank you. Okie dokie. Right, what else have we got? Let's move quickly because we are kind of quickly running out of time. I'll just go through a couple of these. If anybody wants to chip in, just shout. Yoast are coming out with version 14.0. There seems to be quite a lot of changes under the hood. And if you are kind of hooking into Yoast SEO, or you're in any way, shape or form relying on it, it might be worth checking out this post. It's still, it's around the corner, shall we say. It hasn't happened just yet, but if you are relying on it, go check that out. That's quite an important one. Jetpack. I never use Jetpack for anything. Anybody using Jetpack?
All WordCamp's websites, and WordCamp Kiev co-organizer as well. So all WordCamp websites use Jetpack.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
me. We're kind of obliged to use it.
Yeah, I was going to say you've got to use it for various things. Well, apparently, if you were using Jetpack's search service, it was quite a costly enterprise. You needed Jetpack Professional, which cost $29 a month. And for that, they would offer you a higher level of search on your website, enable all sorts of different ways of searching and so on. But it didn't matter how big your website was. So if you just had like 100 pages, it was $29. And if you had 1 million pages, the likes of TechCrunch or something like that, then it's $29 a month. And this just didn't seem like common sense. So they've changed over to a pricing, which you can see here. So if you are using Jetpack Search, you're either, I would imagine in most cases, the cost of your subscription is going to go down. But if you are working for a very large enterprise, it could potentially go up by, well, maybe 6-7 times as much, up to 200. And this article just explains what that's all about. So there you go. The only bit of security news that I came across this week was a plugin not heard of, not used, called WP Lead Plus X. And the guys over at WordFence have got an article about this. So there you go. Go and check that out. If that plugin name rings a bell, go check it out. What else have we got? This is the self-promotional bit. I do apologize, everybody. I have to promote myself, I suppose, to some extent. I know.
Do not apologize for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in that case,
do that.
I'm going to apologize for the apology.
I'm sorry, but this is so British.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. I'm
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about the terribly British. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know why we do that, but anyway, I'm terribly sorry about it. This is the WordPress 174. David and I have decided to do these sort of debates. David Wormsley's the other chap that I do the podcast with, and instead of sort of agreeing with each other all the time, we've decided to disagree with each other about things but again, in a very polite British way, which means we basically agree with each other. And so we've taken on a subject this week. It was WordPress page builders versus SaaS page builders like Squarespace, Wix, and Weebly, and all those kind of things. And are there any benefits to using one over the other? And the answer is yes. Like, not always WordPress, which was quite surprising. So that's what that was about. You can go and listen to that. And then we moved on. Oh, Sabrina.
Which is quite surprising because you're both WordPress dudes.
Yeah, but you know what? I think if you just want a 5-page website, right? And all you want to do is own it, run it, maintain it yourself. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be shot down. That seems like a fairly good argument for using something like Squarespace. So now I'm just going to slowly disappear. Well, else everybody criticizes me. No, yeah, maybe. I think you're right. But anyway,
no, I think you're right. Also, I'm experimenting with other platforms besides WordPress. I know.
You say.
I know.
Which ones?
I am currently playing around with Webflow.
Oh yeah, that's really going. Like, people are talking about that a lot.
Yeah.
Is it enjoyable? Nice. Is it, you know, you get a lot done quickly?
Well, not yet, but I think I might get there. Yes. I like the hosted part. Yeah, my dog is breaking down my house.
No, it's okay. You know what?
I mean, it's not, but it's fine for now.
Yeah. No, I've seen quite a few people in our WP Builds group have experimented with it, and invariably they say how fabulous it is. And I know one person who I think is moving a lot of their future work over to it, just because they found the experience to be so pleasurable, so well thought through. Anyway, so that was the purpose to that. We're going to do a podcast about that particular subject. Right, Sabrina, normally at this point we have a little job section, and quite often I don't really have anything, but I know that you've got one that you could mention this week. Who's got a job?
Yes, my very favorite WP Rocket does have few open positions. It's a custom sports engineer, so it's 100% remote. You've got to be fluent in English, but also you've got to be fluent in PHP and JavaScript and CSS and performance optimization. But if you're just interested in it, you can learn a lot as well. I was doing this job for a while, and it was lovely. So if you're interested, just go and check out the position. Is
this it here? So it's wp-rocket.me/career.
Yeah.
And there they are. There's your colleagues. Job opening. Oh, they've got a WordPress developer job as well as a tech support job as well. So, well, thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. And obviously, it's quite nice to speak to somebody who's actually worked for the company in question, and to know that it was an enjoyable experience.
It was like super cool experience to work with these people.
Yeah. Oh, well, that really is good to know. Fantastic. Thank you. So there you go. wp-rocket.me/career for that one. Now then, apart from that, this one, oh, crikey, pop-ups. This one took me by surprise this week. I don't know if any of you are the owners of a .us, .biz, .in, or .co domain. I several, shall we say. Especially the .co one, that seems to have grown in popularity over the last few years. It's almost kind of a replacement if you can't find .com. And I think also .nyc, although I'm not sure that many people are going to be using that one so much. But .biz, it's been bought by GoDaddy. So GoDaddy are now the proud owners of this. And if you want to renew your domain, I presume you're going to be paying GoDaddy. And if you want to have a new domain with one of those extensions at the end, you're going to be paying GoDaddy. They make the claim in this Search Engine Journal article that they're going to keep whatever company they've got set up to handle domains. I don't really know because I don't use GoDaddy for any of this, but that's going to be kind of kept separate. And this new thing will be new and kept separate. But we know how this goes. Often over time, they get kind of amalgamated. And so interesting. I know GoDaddy obviously made massive efforts more recently in the last few years to sort of up their WordPress game, but I think a lot of people still have stories about how it went with GoDaddy in the past, and so this could be of interest. Ooh, interesting. Anybody? I shall move on. In that case, anybody use Integromat? I thought this was quite interesting. Integromat is a rival to like If This Then That and Zapier. So you basically connect Integromat to a growing list of services. It's cheaper than Zapier, is my understanding, but you could connect it to Google Docs or I don't know, some form plugin on WordPress or something like that. But the reason I've mentioned this one is I'm just on the news for a bit of COVID-19 good tech news, and this struck me as quite interesting. You can, they've created an app so that rather than going searching the internet for data about COVID-19, they're going to suck the data out of wherever it could be found. So I presume they're going to be polling government websites and things like that. And they're going to present that as an app on Integromat. So you could then pull it out and publish it onto your platform or what have you, which I just thought was a really nice gesture on their behalf, saving a ton of people. Because just about every website that I go to at the minute, any news-based website that's nothing to do with WordPress, you know, like normal news, seems to be trawling around for the statistics for every country, you know, how many people have got ill and so on and so forth. And so Integromat have made this a whole lot easier, which I just think is a really nice gesture on their behalf. And finally, this has got nothing to do with WordPress at all, but this is so cool. I use this. This is a UK bank, right? It's the whole thing is done on an app. So there's no branches. There's no place to go and see somebody. Everything's done in app. You can, if you get a check, you can photograph the check and they'll cash it and what have you. And they obviously noticed over the last few weeks that there's a lot of people struggling to buy stuff at the supermarket. And so, as an example, we went shopping, as I said, last week for a friend of ours who is totally forced to lock down. And then you've got this problem at the end. You've got to figure out what they owe you, right? So you go through the receipt and you figure out what they owe you. And it's a bit of faffy. So what Starling Bank are doing is they're going to create a new card. Right, you'll get a new card for your bank account and with a new PIN, and you tell the bank how much money you want to be available on that card, and you give it to somebody that you trust, and then they go shopping for you and they use your card with the alternative PIN, which I just thought was dead clever. Isn't that nice? Nice little way. Yeah, really, really ingenious. So you're not giving away any security because the PIN is totally separate. You're not giving away access to your account. You're actually giving access to what they call a space. So you set up a space and you say, okay, put £100 in there. And then that's all that's available. Once the £100 is gone, you either put some more in or it's empty. And so in that way, some trusted person, in my case, it might be my parents or it might be a friend or a colleague or something like that. And just give them the card, say, please buy my shopping with that, you know, and don't go to Barbados, please. Not that you could go to Barbados at the minute. Okay, I think that's all I've got to say, but I know Bernhard, you had some pods news that you wanted to talk about.
As always, you know, my shameless plugs.
Yeah, please plug pods like mercilessly. Tell us what's new.
Well, on the one hand, we are progressing, as I told last week, with the Friends add-ons. So now the elements are in place. So for that people which are friends of pods, they can already check the screen and see the new upcoming plugins. Not sure when they will be ready, but we're working on them. Scott did a little bit of experiment last week because you mentioned integrations with Zapier for pods, so that you can trigger pods too via Zapier.
Nice.
Yeah, but that will require pods 2.8 and the new REST API. So it's not really soon, but well, a lot is happening in the last week, so it's hard to tell when it will be ready. Yeah, I think that was the most important, very, very English, important part. Yeah, the rest is friends are going up, so it's nice.
Oh, that is
really
good news.
donating.
Oh,
yeah.
That is good news. Yeah. Oh, congratulations on that. It felt for a moment as if it could go in one, in either direction, up or down. But they're both up, aren't they? Up or down. There we go.
Yeah.
But that's great. Oh, I'm really pleased to hear it. That's lovely. By the way, Hughes, whilst we've been talking, has downloaded Sabrina's plugin and is having a go.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, Hughes. Sometimes he's nice. Sometimes he's just really not nice at all. He's going to kill me.
And a little personal add-on, because as most of you know, I did the pods add-on for Beaver Builder, was mostly my work, and we reached 7,000 active users.
Oh, nice!
Days ago. Yeah, it's surprising. I never would have imagined that happen. It's like I don't know.
Can I kill those 6,900 sites now that I've?
Yeah, go ahead, and all that fake 5-star ratings too.
Yeah, that took me ages to set those account ups. Honestly, it's really tricky. You can tell when that's actually being. We joke, but that's so obvious when that's really happening. Look at the timestamp on the comments, and if suddenly there's 18th of May, 18th of May, 18th of May, 18th of 5 stars, something quirky as a. Oh, well done. Yeah, well done.
I was wondering, Bernhard, what is the most popular add-on for Beaver Builder?
Hard to tell. It depends on the use case. I mean, Power Pack and the Ultimate add-ons are for sure the biggest ones.
Yeah. I mean, inside Ultimate add-ons, what is the most used feature?
Info box.
Like from these plugins, or what do you mean? I'm not sure.
Inside, there's one called the info box, which is just you could build entire websites out of info box. That's super useful. That you could repurpose it for just about everything. So that's quite a good one.
For sites I build, we are using less and less add-ons because most of the stuff can be done with the basic blocks or modules. At least that's what I'm finding out more and more. A little bit of CSS and custom stuff, and heavily rely on pods and Beaver Builder because I can output all the custom fields and the loops and all that stuff. I think that's things which many users aren't really get to know because it's a little bit more advanced. I don't know, pods has these relationship fields, so you can relate one post to another, or I don't know, a book to an author and all that stuff. And that was the reason I built the add-on, because now you can easily select the related items and just output them with any post module in Beaver Builder. So, and that's the thing where it really gets funny for me, at least. Or if you extend existing post types like the events calendar and add additional information and just can output it, or we build it's more like little databases which can be more or less put together easily. So that's would be a full topic or full talk.
Yes, we could do a whole weekly WordPress news on that subject. As usual,
of course.
The amount of personal information about me has been sort of off the scale this week. Lots of comments about my hair. Thank you very much to everybody. I have fringe envy for Nathan. It's spaghetti, says Matt. Thank you. Oh, great. And Rick says, what's the name of your plugin again, Sabrina?
SpeedGuard.
SpeedGuard. I just typed in WordPress SpeedGuard and I immediately got #1 was the correct URL. And Nathan, could you assign us part of your bank account so that we can test it out? That's what I'm going to do. I will set up a space. I will put a load of cash in it and I will let everybody have the PIN number. But I'm going to keep the card. So That's it. That's all we've got time for. Just before we finish, if you're up to anything exciting this week, tell us. I'm just doing kids stuff all this week. That is my basic plan. But what about you, Wendie?
I haven't thought about this week yet.
Yeah, best answer. That's fine.
I don't have a clue. I live by the day. I check my calendar in the morning, what I have to do this week. Oh, okay, I'll do that. But
yeah.
so
That's nice.
It's
nice.
not really something big. No.
No, good. Sabrina, what about you?
I'm showing thumbs ups for the link to my plugin. But what I found out this week is that WordCamp US is going to happen either way
nice.
or another. And I really loved how they put it. Like, I'm WordCamp Kyiv co-organizer this year. We applied, but we haven't done that much to organize because all the things happened, and we were kind of puzzled, you know. And I think a lot of WordCamps who applied and they're in planning stage or they're like in organizing stages, they feel this uncertainty, like, what should we do? And WordCamp US, they like made this post, like, what they're saying. Give me a second, I'll find it out.
Yeah. If you can find it, I'll put it on the screen.
I just like how they put it. They were saying, we know that a lot of the future seems uncertain, but we do know this WordCamp US 2020 will happen one way or another. And it was so like reassuring. It was so nice to read this, you know. And as WordCamp organizer also, I was thinking, yeah, really, we should do the same. We should make this happen one way or another and just prepare to one way or another and move on, and that's it. That's very nice. And they also have call for speakers open if anyone is interested until 16th of April, I think, or 17th.
I can't see the date on that particular page, but here's the link. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's lovely. Is it going to be? It's going to be in St. Louis again, right?
Yeah, it's planned in St. Louis, but in case it will be offline. But
yes,
who knows?
Of course. Yeah, who knows? We'll take the medical advice on that. But that's good. Thank you so much. And Bernhard, anything this week?
Nothing special. Working on some sites, trying to crunch together Faceit WP, Beaver Builder, and the events calendar, and especially since 5.0 release of the events calendar, it's not funny sometimes.
Oh dear. Right, and on that bombshell, we'll leave it with you. If you three just want to hold on, I'm going to mute everybody's mics, and then I'll put the screen on, and I'll chat to you again in a second. But thank you for watching. Thanks for your nice comments. I really appreciate it. We'll be back here next week, and hopefully you'll join us. Have a nice time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.